There's this big gigantic couch and every subscriber is sitting on it and we're just like watching TV together and hanging out, and I want that to feel this way. So welcome back. B-side of Daechwita by August D. So I'm going to tell you right now, I got in way over my head. Way over my head. I had this great plan of, okay, well, we'll do the reaction, and then we can kind of just compartmentalize everything in part two, the B-side, get into the deep dive. The making of is like 15 minutes, which for me is an hour, right? We've got lyrics, we've got Daechwita explained by a Korean. That is 12 minutes. So we're talking like, for me, easily 7 hours. And I know a lot of you are thinking, bring it on. I'm up for the challenge, bro. And I appreciate that. I got things to do. Right? So let's get into it. I don't know what this is going to look like. Doesn't matter, because we're just hanging out on the couch. Let's get it.
Suga has delivered another hard-hitting mixtape titled D2. The first August D album, released in 2016, focused on the tough times Suga faced when he was a teenager. Suga's at a very different place now. He's much older and he's much more successful. And this album focuses on the changes of his feelings after becoming one of music's biggest superstars. It's a very honest album, and my personal favorite off of this is the title track, Daechwita.
Personal favorite, read masterpiece. What?
It's an ultimate flex track slash warning slash reminder with tons of historical references, so let's take a look into it.
This shot, his face, first of all, cinematography of the whole thing, brilliant. It's a movie. And the pacing is perfect. I'm going to hit on all of it. I don't know if this guy's going to get a chance to even talk. And I apologize if you're watching, if you're the one talking in the video, probably not. But I just got too much to say, and I don't have a lot of time to say it, so we're going to blast through. This first shot, right? Already the framing and something about Suga's face here. And this is probably just me because I only have a limited amount of experience with the whole group. But Suga's face here, the lighting, it's the way his face is just, his expression is just hard. It's different. It's different than I've seen it. So good. Cinematography, symbolism, right? Passing through a door is usually, symbolically, not usually, but symbolically represents like the passage of something. May not apply here, but generally, in pretty much almost everything I've ever done, and I didn't do this on purpose, it just always turned out that way. That for me, in my storytelling and my visual stuff, doors became like a portal in some way. It became representative of some kind of transition.
Yeah.
Oh, I love that. That was so small, but so badass. Profanity check. He says, yeah, right? We got the beat building. We're starting to feel it. And he says, yeah. But like, his mouth barely moves. Now, you notice stuff like that, you're hooked. It's over. Somebody call the paramedics.
Yeah.
Oh!
Oh.
You see that camera movement? That's handheld on purpose, right? There's all the movement of these guys moving, and we've talked about this. When that camera's moving, it's a representative of the energy that's in that shot. And you think about that and you're like, well, duh, but it's not a given, right? You give somebody a camera and you say, hey, go film these guys dancing. They're probably gonna stand there by default and go, and make sure that everybody's in the frame. pretty much all we think about. There's a lot of energy behind this. And the reason for my reaction at the very end of that video, when I was forced, see what you guys did to me? To play it all the way through without pausing and allow all that energy to build up, is because I'm watching that. I'm trying to think of all the things that I want to say, all the things that I want to comment on. And I have no choice but to just start giggling like I'm at Chuck E. Cheese, right? Because I'm looking at that like, what did it take to do that, to put that together? So much. And I just like overwhelmed with envy and awe.
Daechwita is Korean traditional marching music that was played when kings or royalty were moving about, or important guests would visit, as well as when army would be marching. There are two main characters in this music video, a king Suga and a bottom class Suga. We can see that the king Suga is a tyrant. He has everyone kneeling down with the faces.
See, I don't like that I'm watching this right now. I don't want to be fed the information yet. I want to get into it with my own eyes. I want to see what I interpret by default. See if I caught what they were telling. Now, I know there's a lot of cultural references that I won't get. Completely understand. But from one storyteller, who is the one who wrote / directed that whole team, from their creation of it, handing it over to us, the viewer, did we pick up on what they were putting out there? That's what's... I would say I'm torn, but I'm not. I'm going to turn this off, no disrespect, because I want to see what I'm picking up on myself. I want to see how I interpret this. Better yet, I want to talk about how I interpret this. Okay, so we got the video up. I'm going to turn the volume down. We're going visual. Okay, so we left off. I'm going to turn it down a little bit. Oh, so good. Scale. Kingdom, right? Oh, I love that. There's the energy we talk about, right? And then the cross between the energy of this shot going back and forth and then the slow motion shot. Yeah! It reinforces that feeling of energy. So when you go back to it, you know what I mean? Like it undulates, right? Such a good shot. Yeah, that easy zoom in, right? Oh, yeah. Okay, so, and this is why I didn't want to watch that other video, which I regret watching it. Because now I know, right, that the scar on his face, I know it's Suga as both the ruler and the lower class, right? The scar, to me, is like, that's how they're identifying. It's not just the same guy. Like, this is the confirmation of this is the same guy. Scar, because I think both of them have the scar, right? So that is the giveaway of, yes, this is the same guy, but in a different context. Can you figure out what we're trying to say? That's my 2 cents. And then he punches this dude in the back. Oh, man. So we got all the people bowing down. Here comes the king. Does he have the scar? Born in a ditch, but rise up a dragon. I mean, there's no way I'm going to have any order whatsoever to this, and I apologize, but I don't, because we're getting after it. We're getting dirty. Man, look at the composition of this shot, right? We're getting deep. We are below the king's eye line, so we're kind of forced to look up. So we not only see the people that he rules, right? We see all of the land behind him. And he is the free floater in this shot. The composition is magnificent. Rise Up a Dragon. And that's how you line it up, right? Born in a ditch, but rise up a dragon. That shot just screams of power, right? Oh, man. Wow, I just caught the profanity. Woo! I didn't even catch that before. Sugar getting nasty. Wow. So there's this piece of like, I know it's like traditional that the guy in the beginning was talking about traditional, and there's like cultural references, and we're talking like the ruler, right? We're talking the lower class. This doesn't appear to be like modern day, right? But yet the lyrics, we're talking about pill poppers. We're talking about a talent show. Is this just a coincidence? Not a coincidence, but is this just, hey, here's the lyrics. It's a badass song. This is the general message. And we're just going to make a video that portrays and demonstrates that general message? Or are we going like from a contrast? I.e., if you show like an action scene in a movie, we're talking machine guns, slow motion, and there's all this crazy war, but you play like a soft acoustic song with a lot of reverb on the voice, something kind of haunting. The contrast between those two things is powerful if you do it right. Is that what's happening here? Gotta wonder. Okay, so he's got the key. See, that was beautiful. That caught my attention in the first one. We go back from... Why isn't that working? We go back from this shot. Here, he does this, and it's called a cut-on action or cut-on movement. Depends on who you ask. He does this, and then we cut to him doing the exact same thing in a different location. Boom. Well, kind of. Oh, man, he's got all the power. This is the part that blew my mind, right? All of a sudden a car comes in and I'm like, why is there a car? But then they get your attention and then they drop the bomb. So sick. That slow motion. Ooh. Right there. That's the bomb. Oh, so good. See, I get excited because I wish I had made this, right? It's so good. Down to the facial expressions. The king sees the car come in doing spins, slow motion. There's all this confidence down here. I mean, look at it. Look at Sugar's face here as a low class. He's just looking up, all that confidence. And the king, all the confidence, because he's a king, right? He don't care. This country's too small to hold me in yet. Oh, man. Huh. Bang PD. Is this Hitman Bang? Is that right? Am I learning or am I way off? And I've read too many comments in the last 2 weeks. Huh. Wow. You just got no skills. No. No. Okay. Tell me. He's talking about pill popping. He's talking about, what did he just say? Reality check. I wanted clothes, clothes, then money, money, then goal, goal. Now what's next? Here comes my reality check. There's nowhere higher. I'm a king. I'm a boss. Popping pills. Cry me river. You just got no skills. Is he talking about his, as the low class, his former life, right? Troubled times as a teenager. And I don't know his story yet. I will, but I don't know yet. But I know he had some hard times. And the guy in the beginning said he had troubled times. But now he's this massive superstar, right? Is this his journey, right? Is this a symbolic of his journey through that? It's like he's talking to his old self, right? He's tied up, fire around him. I got everything I wanted. Ooh, see, even that of like, okay, he's saying the lines, but then on the transition past the torch, we go back to him being held captive. Reality check. There's nowhere higher. I only looked up, and now I want to look down and put my feet on the ground. Remember my name. Wow. The hair is a nice touch. That's all I got to say about that. I got to go back and see what his hair looked like before. All right, so we've got the showdown, right? It was like me and Dope and Beat Saber. So there's like this moment where interesting. Ooh. All right, so there's like this moment where it's the king, King Sugar, right? And we're talking like idol Sugar, kind of competing against lower class, former, coming up, poor. I don't know. I'm assuming here, Sugar, the two, and those two are kind of like facing off. So is it like this everyday struggle of? There's moments where the king, you know, like the higher, not higher, but like the royal piece of me, this ego that I have that like tries to take over, right? And I have to make sure in like this moment where he's here and it seems like it's over, like it's done, that he comes through it, right? So he's not going to let that like royalty in his head take control. He's the one like his, oh man, how do I say this? It's like there has to be this humility to it, right? This humility of, yeah, I I'm not going to become this tyrant, right? Even if it's to myself. But it doesn't happen, right? Oh, okay. So that dude chopped his wrists. He's free. But why did he do that? so amazing, right? I mean, and are these in this ceremonial aspect, are these people down here that the king is like, are these representations of like fans? I mean, what is this? I mean, now they're all doing it, right? So interesting. I mean, I know there's so much going on here, and I have scratched none of it. I'm fully aware. But like I said, I don't want to be just given the information. I want to see what I take away from it. Because you have to assume, right? Whatever I'm piecing together from these visuals has got to be something that I identify with in some way, right? This version of, like, I've had my struggles. I've been weak. I've been lesser versions of myself. And there's been times where I've had to really kind of bring myself down and be like, hey, take it easy, right? You're not all that in a bag of chips or whatever we said in the 90s. Um, yeah, man. Okay. So that's kind of my interpretation. I feel like it's this struggle between lower class and upper class, but it's like Sugar's own his own story almost. It's not generalized to high class versus low class, social classes, socioeconomic struggles and stuff like that. I feel like my gut says this is more personal. The pill popping is so specific, right? And I know there's something to this, whatever is behind them, like on the back of their bodies, their cloaks. Wait a second. Are these the haters? Are these the haters? We've talked about this. Guys that are dressed in black, hooded, can't see their faces, represent haters. Okay, so they're not fans, they're haters, maybe, which, in that regard, in this ending, is he converting the haters? Play it loud. So now they're all in unison. Even the guy who was going to kill him, it's like he has this spell over everybody, right? Including the executioner. Oh, that sound is so nasty. Ooh. And it's like he converts everybody. Because the executioner didn't kill him. Wow. Wow. Amazing. Amazing. I'm going to be honest with you. There's so much more. I mean, this is not a deep dive by any stretch. This is 25 minutes of me rambling and trying to keep my thoughts together. If we're going to do these deep dives, we got to do them right. Like, we got to have lyrics. You know what? Let me pull up the lyrics. We're doing it. We're doing it right now. So I just got a text. Annie is on her way home, which means I got to get dinner started, which means I have literally minutes to figure this out. So, Daechwita, hey, play. Okay, so I'm on dual set lyrics, right? Daechwita, literally great blowing and hitting, is a genre of Korean traditional music consisting of military music played by wind and percussion instruments, generally performed while marching. Okay, so the guy said that in the beginning. This track contains a sample. Okay. Daechwita, hey, play it loud. Hey, play it loud. It shines, shines, my crown shines. Don't forget, don't forget, don't forget the old days. So far, don't forget the old days. I feel like my theory is kind of panning out. We so fly on a chartered airplane. We so fly, okay? Talking about, oh wait, this is modern stuff, right? Chartered airplane, talking about royalty. Like he's an idol now. He's a big deal. Don't forget the old days. Stay humble. Born a slave, risen to a king. A tiger who's gone crazy. Flow. I don't even want to try to pronounce that. Was the, okay. Was the 15th king of the Sand dynasty. He was deposed and not restored and given the temple name. The born a slave, risen to a king line seems to be based on the fictional plot of the 2012 movie Masquerade, where the king finds a double in order to avoid the constant. No, no. There's also a 2019 drama, The Crowned Clown, which is a remake of Masquerade. Wait a second. So is this okay? So I know this is the lyrics, but these snippets are these theories like mine? Mine's just a theory. It seems to be based on the fictional plot. Okay, so I'm going to take that with a grain of salt. I don't know what to do with that yet. But it just seems strange. This seems personal. Rags to riches, that's exactly the way I live. I'm sorry, but don't worry about me. I have lots to lose. I trap the past in a rice chest. The above line references the story of Crown Prince Sado, who died of starvation by being confined in a rice chest, which was by order of his father. I'll take mine and eat them all. Calling me a dog, it doesn't make sense. I was born a tiger. I'm not weak like you, at least. A talent show of petty little shits. Profanity check. Earmuffs. Honestly, I find it ludicrous. I kill you all, no courtesy. You bastard, yeah, you, no exception. Flexing. I don't do it. I don't need it. Who's the king? Who's the boss? Tony Danza. Everyone knows my name. These bastards who are all talk cut his head off immediately. The above line is something you'd hear in historical dramas when executing someone as shown in the... Yeah. Play it loud, Daechwita. After making a good haul, I fly on a chartered airplane right away. To contain me, this country is still small. Who said time is money? My time is more expensive. TikTok, you bastards, with a stick. Virtuous classical scholars during the dynasties these days. I spit in your face. Patui. P-T-U-I. Patui. That was so cartoon-esque. The revenue that has never gone down. I'm so thankful that I'm a genius. Doing drugs for such a petty excuse. I feel sorry for you. It's just that you have no talent. I got everything I wanted. I wonder what else I should have to feel satisfied. Clothes I wanted, money, goal, and then what should come next? Yeah, what should come next? I suddenly realized where I am, the current situation where I have nothing above me. Abbreviation, a wise man time, reality realizing time, is slang that describes mental status where you have no greed or desire because you realize that the desire is meaningless, or the moment when you come back to reality after being completely absorbed in something. Like BTS, like doing reaction videos. Okay. Side note. Interesting. Note from the author here. Again, I didn't think it's necessary to point it out, but I am just going to put it here since many are taking the origin of this word as the only meaning of it. The origin of this slang, a wise man time, is related to the feelings men... Okay. Yeah, this is just like author notes. Okay, back to the lyrics. I, who has only been looking up, now would like to just look down and put my feet on the ground like that. I'm a king, I'm a boss. Remember my name. These bastards who are all talk, twist his legs immediately. Okay, so lyrically, I've kind of literally blown through the lyrics, but I feel like my theory is on. I feel like my theory is on. Now that being said, after I go through the rap line this week, and we've got 4 more videos this week, rap line videos. Ooh, I don't know how we're gonna do this. I gotta get back to this explained by a Korean because I know he's gonna answer all my questions, and I'm gonna realize I was way off. It's all good. Interpretation is solid for me anyway. I feel good with it, but the point of the whole thing, this was bad ass. Suga is nasty, and I mean that as an absolute compliment for those of you that don't understand the slang that I'm using, because I know I've got subtitles up from like 15 countries right now. Nasty is a good thing. Okay, that's the adjective that I'm sticking with. There's so much to say. The beat, the cinematography. I mean, there wasn't much choreography, but there didn't. This was a movie, right? This is telling a story to me as of right now. This is the rise to power, but trying to maintain that sense of self that stops you from becoming this like self-proclaimed king where you're above it all. But you've got to maintain this humility to you, this sense of self that will always be you, right? Man. Okay. Before I go, because she's probably here now and dinner's not ready, and feel free to blast the comments with spoilers. Because at this point, I'm going to watch the video, I'll learn some stuff, but run amok. Give me every bit of information that you want, because I am really curious and I don't want to wait until the end of the week/weekend to get into the answers. So feel free to just blast them. Or maybe I'll get up again at 3:30 and do it then.